And friend of the show, Drew Brees, caught up with our very own Alex Flanagan after leading his team into that NFC divisional round. Take it away.
Well, first, just wow, reaction to the finish of that game.
I mean, it was a wild one, and we knew it would be. Listen, that's a very good football team that we just beat, and divisional opponent, you know. So there's a lot of familiarity, and obviously we have battles with those guys every time we play them. And it's hard to beat somebody three times.
You told me that on Friday.
I mean, absolutely. Listen, we knew they were going to be ready to play. We knew that we were going to get their best shot, and we knew they were going to have a good game plan on both sides of the ball. And so
Confidence for your defense.
No, absolutely. Listen, we come to the sideline, and you know, you're in that territory where, listen, you get a first down, you win the game. So we play to win. We don't play not to lose. So the discussion was very quick with Sean. It was, hey, you want to go for it? I was like, you got a play you like? Yeah, okay, let's do it. You know, just knowing that, hey, listen, if we do get stopped, defense is going to go out there and make a stop. So they did that, and you know, we got the win.
Who dat quarterback? Drew Brees there. The NFC divisional round matchups are set Saturday. It is the Falcons and the Eagles. They are playing in Philadelphia at the Lincoln. Sunday, it is the Saints going up to Minnesota, home of the Super Bowl, to take on the Vikings. Before we need to dig into any of this, we have to reflect on what happened. I have a feeling this table has plenty of thoughts on Drew Brees and his performance.
It was a phenomenal performance by Drew Brees. You know, we went into this game assuming that it would be the Kamara show, be the Ingram show. We've seen games this year where those two guys were the leading wide receiver.
No doubt, unanimous Hall of Famer, maybe the greatest pure passer of all time. Make him beat us in his building, and he did. Drew Brees was fantastic last night. And you look at the numbers, 23 of 33, 376 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the interception, which might not have even been an interception. We don't even know on that last one with Adams. But Brees shows why this season he's almost taken a back seat for the better of the team. Like the way that they've been winning games with Kamara and Ingram. But when you need him most, Drew Brees is still freaking Drew Brees. And next week, I know we're not going to spin it forward just yet, but next week, you got to tell me, you got to pick one, Case Keenum or Drew Brees. It's really hard to take the first guy. It's really hard because Drew Brees looked amazing last night.
Undefeated at home. I think they've only won 1 or 2 playoff games on the road, though, the Saints. It'll be really interesting to see what Minnesota can do. And we're talking about Drew Brees. You're mentioning the surrounding pieces. I'm the Michael Thomas hype person in the NFL, I think, all year long, even going back to last year. Yeah. And he is who he could rely on, right? Yeah. They take out the run game.
Our night, this was me, this was Drew. Because, guys, it wasn't the defense. The Saints D got no turnovers on Cam. They gave up 24 first downs. The running game wasn't there. It was the Drew Brees show. And in the meantime, I know the Panthers had their issues in the red zone. I do feel like they got the Panthers' best shot. I've never seen Cam look better as a passer in his career, throwing the ball.
Steph Curry, okay, you can either shoot a jumper or a three-pointer. Either way, he's going to beat you. With the surrounding pieces, with that running back core, the wide receivers, Mike Thomas, and the complimentary guys, do you want them to beat you in the air or beat you on the ground? Because this team can do either, and we're talking about this offense. But what about that defense as well? They stepped up big in big moments, and Cam played an unbelievable game, and that defense for the Saints stepped up big when they needed it.
I think we've been saying it for months. It's the most complete team in the NFL. There's not a more complete team. People forget about Michael Thomas. Are we joking right now? He's the only Pro Bowl wide receiver that Drew Brees, with all those passing yards in all those years, has been voted to the Pro Bowl. I got dragged a little bit last year for saying this is the best, most talented, athletic, raw talent wide receiver Drew Brees has ever played with. No disrespect to Marcus Colston, who, by the way, is awesome. Him and Lance Moore for being at that game yesterday.
And Reggie Bush in that 91 Will Smith jersey, I got chills. But I will say this. In closing the chapter on the Panthers season, Cam Newton was awesome yesterday. Cam Newton was amazing. Christian McCaffrey was amazing. And I thought the Panthers, to your point, guys, gave their very best shot. And it still wasn't enough. It wasn't like we had the Buffalo Bills coming in here and just swinging and missing, or the Rams who just kind of didn't show up where we thought we would get. The Panthers, offense and defense, brought it, and still Brees lit them up. Will Lutz hits a 57-yard field goal when they needed it most. Okay, you said complete. The only thing that I'm a little worried about, that defense that we were praising all season long, Cam had his way with.
It's true, but at the same time, I don't know if Cam Newton was the best Cam on the field last night either. I mean, Cam Jordan was a maniac, especially. He closed the game. 3 straight plays.
For them, that does make that's the one thing that makes me nervous.
They're not playing another game in the Superdome. They're a totally different team outside of that building.
That's facts.
They're unbeatable there.
It is a dome, though. I like Drew Brees in any dome.
To your point about the defense, they were dialing up blitzes up against the most athletic quarterback in the playoffs right now. And they were getting home on Cam and taking big shots at him. I was impressed all the way around, offense, defense, and like you said, special teams.
Some of their stars on this team on both sides of the ball for the Saints are rookies. So that was the one thing I didn't say it out loud, but I was a little nervous about. I was like, oh, rookies going into a playoff atmosphere. How is that going to look? They looked good. McCaffrey on the other side of the ball looked great. So rookies didn't rookie in the playoffs, which pour one out to them this morning. All right, for all the latest news and notes from around the league after a really busy wild card weekend, let's say good morning to our NFL Network insider, Ian Rappaport. Good morning, Ian. We saw Cam take a hard hit in the fourth quarter of that loss to the Saints. It left him unable to get off the field even. Then he came back into the game and looked good, nearly leading the Panthers to a victory. So what happened, and what's the latest on Cam?
Yeah, a little bit of a controversy here regarding Cam calls, so much so that the NFL actually released a statement, Kay, late last night saying, we are now in contact with the Panthers medical staff. We will not going to have any further comment until those conversations are completed. The interesting thing here is that Cam Newton, you're going to see it right here, took a hard hit, walks to the sideline, and then ends up going down right by the sideline. There's some question now about the new concussion protocol and whether someone who staggers off the field should go right to the locker room. Based on the new protocol, they should. But what head coach Ron Rivera said after the game was a little different. First of all, he said Cam Newton actually got poked in the eye and was taken into the medical tent and received the concussion test. All of that was a precaution. Rivera said they wanted Newton to sit down by the sideline to give the backup Derek Anderson a chance to warm up. So while people thought Newton staggered and fell, what Rivera contends is that he sat down by himself to give his backup time to throw. The NFL going to look into this, though.
Ian, as we now know, the Saints, they advanced to the divisional round where they will face the Vikings this coming Sunday. But it sounds like they will be without their guard, Andrews Pete. What more can you tell us about that leg injury?
I'm told they will be without their guard, Andrews Pete, a player who had come on, a first-round pick, had come on and played incredibly well for this impressive Saints offensive line. I'm told he has a broken fibula, which is going to knock him out, of course, for the balance of the playoffs and make his offseason an extremely difficult one because he's also going to have an MRI. If there is ligament damage, and just based on what it looks like, would not be surprising at all. He's likely headed to surgery, and then we'll have a race to get ready for the 2018 season. Meanwhile, the Saints are going to move forward with Senio Calamete, their backup, who has played several different positions on the line this year, who has held up incredibly well, but still, losing a guy like Pete, moving forward in the playoffs, tough for the Saints.
With Teron Armstead dealing with some injuries, missing like 5 games in the regular season, one of my underappreciated storylines a couple of weeks ago is how versatile and how much depth this offensive line has shuffling around as they are. Ryan Ramczyk, a rookie coming in there, going to left tackle. So we'll see if that pays off here in the postseason. Last one for you, Ian. In the upcoming AFC divisional round, the Steelers host the Jags in that incredible defense on Sunday. But how likely are we to see a healthy Antonio Brown go against Jalen Ramsey and company in that one?
Very, very likely. My understanding is Antonio Brown is going to be healthy for this game. And remember, he's been dealing with a calf strain, something he battled several weeks ago that kept him out the balance of the regular season. No surgery necessary. This is not a major injury, more like a 1 to 2 week injury, but he's going to get 3 to get ready. He did also take an Instagram video of himself jogging, more than jogging, actually running. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people watched Antonio Brown jog. You're going to see him here sprinting a little bit. He is expected to be fine. So, okay, the Steelers are going to be at full strength for the game against the Jaguars.
I refer to my wide receiver.